We're back with Blue Zoo TV, presented by Hikari, to continue our tour of the bizarre and beautiful at the Newport Aquarium in Newport, Kentucky. Jeff, I've suddenly, no offense, gotten very hungry. Tell me what it is, because I'm standing by some gigantic crab legs.
Yep, these are giant Japanese spider crabs. They're one of the largest crustaceans in the ocean. I think actually they are the longest, maybe not the largest but in weight, but the longest. They get to be about 10 feet across. We have 5 on exhibit right now, 1 male, and all the rest are females. And you can tell the difference in the male and the females by their claws. The females have small sort of pincher claws. The male has a little bit more of an elbow-shaped, larger claws in the front. These guys are really hard to keep. They like very cold water. They're from deep water. They're scavengers. Believe it or not, even though they look like these huge armored animals, the shells are a little bit thin and soft. They're still not like, they're not like you think of Alaskan king crabs. If you touch their toes, we really had to be careful with the types of gravels we picked, how deep the gravel was, and the type of rockwork we used, how much we used, because if you snap off their shell on the toe, they'll actually get an infection. They can die from it.
Wow.
So they come in sand bottoms, rocky reef bottoms. Did a lot of research on where they are, and they're doing great. So
they can live, correct me if I'm wrong, up to 100 years old.
Yep. They live a long time. So these guys are youngsters. They're probably in their teens at this point in time. They grow fast in the beginning, and then they really slow down and take on. If you look at their pinchers, they're really made for sort of picking little itty bitty things.
And they can grow to be 10 to 13 feet wide.
Yep.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
So this display would never be able to keep these guys for 100 years, obviously, because they'd outgrow it.
No, it wouldn't kill this many of them. Hopefully we'll be able to. The hardest thing for these guys is molt. When one begins to molt, crabs they become carnivorous over one another. And so we have to really have there's a special tank in the back that we pull these guys out when they start to molt. It takes them a couple weeks to pull out of the shell.
Part of their shell is their legs as well, or their body?
The whole, everything? Everything pulls out
like
of the back.
Snake.
Like the back of it pops open like a bag of popcorn, and they pull themselves out like a tarantula. But they're soft. At that point, their skin, their shell is not. It takes a couple days, a couple hours to harden, almost a day to harden, to where it's going to be. And at that point, they're very vulnerable, and these guys could pick each other apart. So you really got to watch it.
I'm still hungry, Jeff.
Fish love frozen foods that are full of the nutrition they need and not freezer burned. Hikari BioPure offers the world's only frozen foods that are gut-loaded with bio-encapsulated multivitamins and packaged for maximum freshness. Our no-touch, mess-free cube packs offer portions that are easy to adjust and keeps the food completely airtight and in optimum condition. Gone are the days of having to rinse the food before feeding, because Hikari BioPure is packed in pure, fresh water, making it the world's cleanest frozen food.
We just came from the beautiful and the bizarre section with our man Jeff. Now we've got our man Dan Hagley here. Dan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What do you do in this great area of Newport Aquarium?
I'm one of the supervisors on the aquatic side, so I get to put my hands in all the tanks and get to help out with all the staff and make sure everything gets done and all the animals get fed and taken care of.
You're the boss.
One of the bosses.
I'm
not the boss.
Nice. Neither am I.
Jeff's the boss.
Nice save. Now, we went over there in the bizarre and the beautiful, which was just unbelievable
Good.
livestock. But we hear that there's a different puffer here that we haven't seen, and one that's a little rarer than others.
Yeah, this is our good friend Buzz, a Mabou puffer from Africa. He was actually a donation from a pet store that I used to work at in college. And they called me up one day and said, I have got this great puffer and he's outgrowing our tank and we don't have anybody that can really take care of it. You'd be interested in it. Didn't quite know how big it was going to be. They said it was 2 feet, but I get a lot of calls to say they got fish that are 2 feet that are 6 inches. So when I got down there, I was really excited. But he's actually hand fed and he likes to be scratched under his right pectoral fin.
Don't we all?
Yeah, so he's a good fish. But he's the largest freshwater puffer. He's found in the great Rift Lakes, Lake Tanganyika. You can find him there. I think you can find him in the Congo.
Well, explain for how rare of a fish it is, or at least it hasn't you don't see it much in the area. Why is your friend's pet store?
They had it because somebody bought it, raised it up. You know, he was only like, inch or two long, raised it up, outgrew their tank. Didn't know what to do with it, so they gave them to the pet store, and the pet store didn't know what to do with it. But they had it for a couple of years, and it became kind of a favorite there, and people would come in just to watch it be fed and that type of thing. And the problem was it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it is a large fish, and they eventually ran out of room, and they needed to find another home for it.
So in this display, you have African cichlids, and obviously the puffer fits in well because that's naturally where it's from.
Yep.
Is he separated because of the cichlid display, or because he may not get along with other puffers because maybe they'll pick at his tail and stuff?
There's really no other puffers that would really fit in this tank that are geographically correct. So we just tried to do a geographic representation in this tank, and that's why he's in here.
Dan, I want to thank you for having us here. I've never learned as much about puffers as I have before. I consider myself almost an expert, man.
No problem.
So thank you
I'm
very
glad
much.
you guys could stop by, and anything I can do to help.
Looking forward to coming back 10 years from now, and we can see the puffer even bigger, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
Water quality can have a dramatic impact on the health of your aquatic pets. Using Ultimate, the world's first full-function water conditioner, can eliminate most water quality issues with one dose. It permanently converts the ammonia using a patented process, rendering it harmless. Ultimate protects damaged areas of your fish, missing the slime coat, and also boosts alkalinity, detoxifies chlorine, nitrate and heavy metals, and adds essential electrolytes. Try Ultimate, everything you need in one bottle.
So more about the fish in a second, but I'm curious, since you're one of the bosses, what made you put a big tambourine or drum right next to where we're doing our show? Well, they have a new exhibit. The beautiful and the weird and the wonderful and the oohs and the ahs and the ohs, huh?
The Bizarre and Beautiful gallery.
Bizarre and beautiful. Beautiful and bizarre. We're gonna go check it out. Have you guys kind of strategically, as he's washing the wall.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't know he was coming this way.
Catch us next week on Blue Zoo TV, presented by Hikari, as we celebrate more weirdness from the Newport Aquarium. To learn more about the show or to email us, go to bluezootv.com.